There is only one jet-powered amphibious aircraft in serial production on the entire planet right now. It can land on a runway or land directly on open water, and Russia just gave it a brand new engine. The aircraft is the Beriev Be-200, and its first flight was September 24, 1998. So why is a 28-year-old design suddenly making headlines again in 2026? Because Russia just solved a problem that has quietly limited this aircraft since 2014. The B-200 is built by the Beriev Aircraft Company in Taganrog, later grouped under Irkut Corporation and United Aircraft Corporation. It is a high-wing, twin-engine flying boat with retractable landing gear, meaning it works on land and water equally. Its hull has a stepped planing bottom, the same shape that lets a speedboat lift and skim across water instead of plowing through it. Two Progress D436 TP turbofan engines power it, each producing about 75 kilonewtons, roughly 16,867 pounds of thrust. That engine was designed by the Ukrainian ZMKB Evchenko Progress Bureau and built by Ukrainian manufacturer Motor Sich. And that single fact became the aircraft's biggest weakness the moment relations between Russia and Ukraine broke down after 2014. Here is what the B-200 can actually do when it is flying. Maximum cruise speed sits around 700 kilometers per hour, about 435 miles per hour. Its operational ceiling reaches about 8,100 meters, roughly 26,600 feet, with a range exceeding 3,500 kilometers. The wingspan runs about 32.8 meters, the length about 32 meters, and maximum takeoff weight hits 43 tons from land or 37.9 tons from water. Its most famous ability is scooping water directly off a lake or sea while still moving. It can pick up 12,000 liters, about 12 metric tons, of water in roughly 14 seconds under calm conditions. That water pickup needs a surface at least 2,300 meters long and 2.5 meters deep, with waves under 1.3 meters. Takeoff distance from water is around 1,000 meters, and from land about 1,350 meters. This is not a paper design. Roughly 10 production B-200 aircraft have been delivered since the late 1990s, flying real missions right now. Most went to Russia's Ministry of Emergency Situations, known as Emercom, which runs the country's firefighting aviation, and to the Russian Navy. Azerbaijan became the first export customer in April 2008. Chile contracted two B-200ES aircraft through a private operator called CBP Accessorias Aeronauticas. Algeria received B-200 CHSE deliveries as recently as 2023. Indonesia has shown interest and already deployed evaluation pilots to assess the aircraft firsthand. Under Emercom contracts, the B-200 has fought fires in Greece, Italy, Portugal, Turkey, and Indonesia. Each export unit has been priced around $50 million, but after 2022, sanctions on Russian aviation made spare parts and leasing to foreign customers dramatically harder. That squeeze is exactly what pushed Russia toward building its own engine, instead of depending on Ukraine. This is where the PD-8 enters the story. The PD-8 is a turbofan engine designed by United Engine Corporation, a subsidiary of the Russian state conglomerate Rostec. It is the centerpiece of an entire import substitution program built to remove Ukrainian and Western parts from Russian aircraft. The program's first target was the Sukhoi Superjet 100, rebuilt into a new version called the SJ-100. That rebuild replaced the original SA M146 engine, a joint venture between France's Safran and Russia's Powerjet, with the domestic PD-8. The same PD-8 engine is now being engineered to replace the Ukrainian D436 TP on the B-200. That single-engine swap ends the Ukrainian dependency completely. Russian officials announced completion of PD-8 certification testing in mid-2026. Flight tests have already run on the SJ-100, flying the route from Russia's Far East all the way to Moscow. Engineers are now preparing for serial installation of the PD-8 in both SJ-100 and B-200 airframes. United Engine Corporation says the import substitution program has already replaced dozens of imported systems across the SJ-100 platform. That puts localization at roughly 70 to 80% of the aircraft's components now sourced domestically. Once the PD-8 is certified for the B-200 specifically, something unusual happens. The B-200 becomes the only jet-powered amphibious aircraft anywhere in the world built without dependence on Western or Ukrainian supply chains. That is not a small technical footnote. It means Russia gains an aircraft that can fight wildfires, run maritime patrols, handle search and rescue, and fly cargo or medical evacuations, without a single foreign-controlled part in its engines. For a country under sustained aviation sanctions since 2022, that kind of independence changes what contracts and deployments actually become possible. It also changes the export picture. Countries like Algeria, Chile, and Indonesia that already fly or evaluate the B-200 would no longer be buying an aircraft with a Ukrainian-linked supply chain hanging over every spare part order. That is a meaningfully different sales pitch than the one Russia has been making since 2014. None of this happened overnight. It took from 2014, when the Ukrainian engine relationship first fractured, to 2026, when PD-8 certification testing was finally completed. 12 years to fully replace one engine on one aircraft shows exactly how difficult supply chain independence actually is, even for a major aerospace power. The B-200 has spent nearly 3 decades as a niche aircraft, with no real competitor in its category. The PD-8 program is what turns that niche aircraft into a strategic asset instead of a vulnerability. Every element of this story is verifiable through United Engine Corporation's own statements and Russian certification announcements from mid-2026. This is not speculation about future capability. This is a certification that has already been completed, with flight tests already flown on the SJ-100 route. If you want to see how the PD-8 program is reshaping Russia's entire commercial aviation fleet beyond just these 2 aircraft, there is another video on this channel covering that. Watch that one next to see exactly which other Russian aircraft are being re-engineered the same way.